What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch back here for another week of my top 10 rankings of the 10 best teams in the NFL right now after week number 9 going into week number 10. Before I break down and give you my top 10 teams in the NFL from number 10 to number 1, make sure that you do Gronk spike the like button and subscribe to the Bottom Line View for more NFL videos just like this. I also promise you guys that this top 10 is going to be nothing like any other top 10 you see, because this week was definitely the most difficult top 10 of any top 10 this entire season. It was ridiculous. I was up at night thinking about who should be number 8, who should be number 5, who should be the top 5. So this was really a thought about process going through this top 10. Guys, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of my top 10. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I do expect this to be a top 10 that some people love and some people definitely hate. So let me know in the comment section below. Let's kick it off with number 10. At number 10, I have the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the biggest reason I have the Indianapolis Colts at number 10, I was impressed with how they were able to recover versus the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh versus a decent football team. Pittsburgh is 4-4 now. Brian Hoyer was at quarterback. They basically had Jacoby Brissett for maybe a quarter. That was about it. And really, I believe that with Jacoby Brissett, they win this game, and they are actually first place in the division at this point. But they lost this game. They lost to the Steelers. But I do think now we got to learn some things about the Colts. I think we learned that, hey, Brian Hoyer, he can fill in for Jacoby Brissett if Jacoby Brissett is injured for a week or two, or if he's out for a series of plays. He is still capable of running an offense. He's smart enough. He's capable of doing so. With Jacoby Brissett, though, I think we also realize that this guy is good. And without him, this isn't the same team. I think we also realize that without T.Y. Hilton, they don't have the same dynamic flow offensively. They still may be able to have a good rushing attack. Defense, though, struggled. And when they are not able to create those big plays through the passing game, the defense versus the Steelers didn't look so hot. And that's the one big concern point I have about the Colts going into this next game. I want to see them improve up front. They were kind of bullied by the Pittsburgh offensive line. That is one of the top offensive lines in football. And I just want to see them improve on that defensive side of the ball, because they no longer have Andrew Luck. They no longer have a top 5 quarterback in football. So if you are going to win these playoff games, if you are going to make the playoffs, period, your defense is going to need to be a top half of the NFL type of unit. And I just didn't see that versus Pittsburgh. Regardless, though, I like Jacoby Brissett. I like this offense. I like the offensive line. I love Frank Reich. I think they have all the elements of being the best team in the AFC South, and I still do believe they are the best team in the AFC South. At number 9, I have the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks are an extremely confusing team to analyze, to predict, and really to rank, because the Seattle Seahawks are a 7-2 football team that I really do not believe are as good as their record suggests. Sometimes in the NFL, there's that old saying of, well, you're as good as your record at a certain point. But to me, the Seattle Seahawks have not performed to the level of what I expect a 7-2 football team at this point to be able to perform to. Their defense consistently gives up big plays, consistently is allowing passers to go over 300 yards, consistently cannot slow down number 1 receivers on the opposite team, consistently is not allowing Russell Wilson to just take his foot off of the gas pedal. This team is 100% driven by the absolute superb play by Russell Wilson, the MVP caliber play of Russell Wilson. And without him, you wonder where this team would be. Because this guy, he's arguably the MVP right now. You could certainly argue that. And he's playing better at the quarterback position than anybody in the NFL. So Russell Wilson is the reason they make this list. Russell Wilson is the reason they're 7-2. And don't get me wrong, I like Chris Carson. I like the rushing attack. The offensive line is a good run-blocking offensive line, but they struggled at times, even versus the Bucs, to contain their pass rush. I love Tyler Lockett. The guy is arguably the most underrated receiver in the league. They're adding Josh Gordon to the mix. DK Metcalf is the truth. So they have some weapons around Wilson. It's just weird to see the Seahawks have to win a shootout every single week. It's just a different Seattle Seahawks that I'm not used to seeing. I'm just not the biggest fan of them. Some people might have them higher. Some people might have them completely off this list. To me, they're somewhere at the bottom, and I have them here at number 9. At number 8, I have the Minnesota Vikings. I believe that the Vikings are a complete team that just isn't great. I think they are a good team. They are complete, but they are not great in any given area. Now, they're very good at running the football. I will give them that, but that wasn't really the case versus the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs sort of shut down Dalvin Cook in that football game. Kirk Cousins is playing really well for the most part. I mean, this is one of his best seasons he's ever had. From a statistical standpoint, he ranks first in a number of key areas, including, I believe, passer rating. So Kirk Cousins is performing. But the thing with Kirk Cousins and the Vikings is they can't seem to beat a team with a winning record. They can't seem to beat a team in a close game at the end of things in the fourth quarter when you really need a moment, when you really need a drive, when you really need a play. It just seems like Kirk Cousins has not been able to come up with that play. Maybe he did versus the Lions, you could argue that, but the Lions are a mediocre team at best. The Vikings are a team that's expected to get to the playoffs. The Vikings are a team that really have the talent to be an NFC contender. I just think they're a little bit under the contender status because we have not seen them actually go toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in football and actually win. Whether that's at home or on the road, we have not seen that yet, and we did not see that versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Even though it was in Arrowhead, and I'm not going to overreact because they lost to the Chiefs, a good team who I have higher on this list, who I believe is an elite contender in the league, especially in the AFC, and a team that even with Matt Moore has played very well. So I'm not going to totally knock the Vikings for their loss. But at a certain point, guys, you need to win a big game. And I don't know if that's Zimmer. I don't know if it's the defense not getting it done, which they didn't have their best game versus Kansas City. I don't know if it's Kirk Cousins. I don't know if it's the lack of having Adam Thielen in that game, which would have definitely helped. But this team has all the tools. They just, at a certain point, they need to put it together. So at number 8, I have the Minnesota Vikings. At number 7, the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are as talented, and I continue to say it week after week after week. And even in weeks where they were not performing, I still had them in the top 10 because they are as talented as any team in football on the offensive and defensive sides of the football. Amari Cooper is in the conversation, I don't care what you say, as one of the best, if not the best receiver in football. I really do think that he is in that conversation. The combination of route running, which is in the top 5 in my opinion. The speed, the breakaway speed, which I never really saw when he was a Raider. All of a sudden, when he was a Cowboy, it just clicked. Everything clicked. He's playing with extreme confidence. He seems to have good chemistry with Dak Prescott. You can pretty much line him up anywhere. He doesn't have to do anything special, like in terms of getting him open. He can just beat the number 1 corner on the other team with consistency. So Amari Cooper is in that special conversation at the wide receiver position and is finally kind of turning into that receiver that we expected him to be out of the draft a few seasons ago. Ezekiel Elliott seems to be getting better. You know, I was kind of complaining that he hasn't been as explosive as he has in the past, but he is getting better. Dak Prescott's playing well for the most part. Michael Gallup is really turning into a nice complementary number 2. Jason Witten has been an awesome addition to this offense. You know, I've been as harsh on Jason Witten, both as a commentator and as a player, just lacking the physicality, the speed, or anything really to play anymore. But he's proven me wrong for the most part. And defensively, they're getting better versus the run. I told you about Michael Bennett. I told you that was going to be an upgrade. Robert Quinn's playing well, and the defensive line, the pass rush is starting to get it going. They're starting to turn the ball over, which is promising. So the Cowboys, they're playing better and better and better. Now we're going to see them versus some better competition. They play the Vikings, then they play the Patriots. So we're really going to see what this Cowboys team is made of. I could see them dropping both games, but I would hope that they win at least one. At number 6, the Green Bay Packers. The Packers, it's all about Aaron Rodgers. And the Green Bay Packers, at the very core, they have not changed. It's all about Aaron Rodgers. And to me, the Packers, they have been regressing a little bit. We've seen it piece by piece, week by week, where they've been regressing defensively. They've been taken advantage of on the ground. Melvin Gordon of the Chargers had his best game versus the Packers. He looked like Melvin Gordon. Maybe the Chargers are getting a little bit better. That's yet to be kind of figured out yet. But the Packers, for some reason, this offensive line that's elite was not able to contain Joey Bosa or Melvin Ingram. A duo that's fantastic, don't get me wrong, but if you're in the playoffs, you are going to be needing to do that. You're going to have to stop pass rushers, especially when you know that those guys are going to be lining up in different spots. You know they're going to be coming after Aaron Rodgers, and if you don't block them, game's over. You lose the game right there. Aaron Jones didn't have his best game versus the Chargers, but I expect him to bounce back this week. Devontae Adams back in the lineup and really wasn't a huge difference maker. But the biggest thing to me is I think the offense will get back on track. I'm not too worried about that. I think they just struggled versus a unique matchup for them. I was a little concerned that they weren't able to run the ball versus the Chargers because everybody has been able to. But from a defensive standpoint, Rivers was able to control the clock, keep Rodgers off the field, and that forced the hand of the Packers. And I think that might be the game plan going forward. Something similar to what we see teams doing against Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes. I'm a little bit concerned about the Packers right now, but I'm still willing to say that with Rodgers, with this offense, what it's capable of, they are still a top 6 team, but I am a little concerned. At number 5, entering the top 5, might be a little bit shocking because I've seen a lot of people put them in the top 3 after their victory versus the New England Patriots. The Baltimore Ravens. Now, we do have to factor in that the Ravens do have 2 losses on the season. They are not undefeated. They don't have just 1 loss. But they had their best game, their best win of the season versus the Patriots. There's no doubt about it. And to me, they had a statement win. They said, hey, we're going to be physical versus the Patriots, and that's hard to do. And we are going to out-physical them at home. Our crowd's going to be rowdy. We're going to treat this like a playoff game. And to me, that was a good thing, but also, I don't know about how much of a good thing that is. Because the Ravens are such a unique team. The Ravens are a team that give everybody an issue with their offense because they're unlike any other team in the league. The way that Lamar Jackson's able to come at you as a runner and a passer, his unique skill set as, I would say, one of the top 10 runners in the league, regardless of position. He is the most elusive runner in the open field, arguably in the league. I think it's between him and Saquon for the most elusive. But man, Lamar makes people miss. He makes people look silly in a way that I haven't seen in a long time. And that power run game is truly something special. And it totally took the Patriots off guard. And the Patriots didn't have an answer for it. And the Patriots looked like they weren't prepared. And John Harbaugh, you got to give him a hand, because he's a top 5 coach in this league, and I've always been a huge fan of Harbaugh. And their defense is getting a little bit better with the playmakers in the secondary, although they did not play their best game, I would say, versus the Patriots. I think, it's difficult to play Tom Brady and the Patriots, but that's an offense that has been a little bit struggling over the past few games, but they were able to get it going in the second half versus the Ravens. But they did make a play or two, like that fumble return by Marlon Humphrey that was really the difference in the game overall. But it's really about the offense. It's really about Lamar. It's really about Mark Ingram. It's about Mark Andrews, these tight ends, the power football, and the unique skill set that the Ravens bring that makes them such a difficult matchup. But like I said at the beginning, I do question, did they show a little bit too much? Did they go a little bit too all out? Was this like their Super Bowl? They were taking pictures at the end of the game. They were taking celebration photos, and it really looked like they won the AFC Championship in this game. I don't know. I think you need to get back to you need to continue this. John Harbaugh needs to slow it down a little bit, because I think it's one thing to win, and it was a great win, but you don't want to get overzealous. You don't want to get overconfident, and that definitely does happen in the NFL. So as much as I love the Ravens, and I've been saying that they're continuing to trend forward, I still think that they are at the bottom of the top 5. At number 4, the Kansas City Chiefs. Part of the reason why they're at the bottom of the top 5, the Baltimore Ravens, is because they can't seem to beat the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. Now, maybe with Matt Moore, they're able to do so, but this is the thing with the NFL. Like, the Ravens, hey, maybe they are a good matchup for the Patriots, and maybe in the playoffs, they would be the toughest test for New England. But if they play Kansas City, it seems like Kansas City has their number. So when looking at the top 3 teams in the AFC, it seems like each team beats each other in these matchups. So you can't really just overreact to the Ravens beating the Patriots. Nonetheless, though, I've been super impressed with the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid and his coaching of Matt Moore in this offense and Tyreek Hill and his ability to get it done even without Patrick Mahomes. And we've seen a little bit more of a commitment to the running game. We've seen much better defense. That's been the biggest difference without Patrick Mahomes. This defense has stepped up, even without their best playmaker in Chris Jones. They've been stopping the run a lot better. They've been even getting after the quarterback a little bit better. And their secondary, I think Claiborne's playing well. That's been a huge addition for them. Tyrann Mathieu's been a nice addition for them. I think overall the Chiefs, they're starting to get better. And it's kind of weird because the Chiefs are usually a team that start off, or at least Andy Reid teams, usually start off the season very, very well. But when it comes to later in the season, they start to trend downward. They get worse as the season goes on. But with this Chiefs team, it seems like they're starting to play their best football at the right time. And like many people say, football really starts, the season really begins for these contenders after Thanksgiving. So we have to see what this team will look like with Patrick Mahomes back in the lineup. But I'm excited if I'm a Chiefs fan because I think they're getting better in areas where that was their biggest weakness. So at number 4, I have the Chiefs. At number 3, I have the New England Patriots. Yes, the Patriots lost. The dragon has been slayed. The giant has fallen. But the Patriots, we knew they were going to lose this season, guys. Did we realistically actually think that they were going to go undefeated? And now I'm going to hear the comments about how they haven't played anybody. Yeah, whatever. We know that the Patriots are good. They played a tough opponent in their home building on Sunday night. A very difficult matchup that they've never seen before. A team that throws something at you that's unique from the rest of the NFL. We have to factor in all those things. And the Ravens traditionally with John Harbaugh have given the Patriots issues. So all those factors, I said the Patriots, if you follow me on Twitter, at Mitch Milani, cheap plug, I said they were going to lose this week or after the bye. So I think what's going to happen, since they lost to the Ravens, they are going to be extremely PO'd. People are saying they're not as good as we thought they were. Their defense isn't quite historic or great. And Tom Brady, he's fallen off the cliff. All these narratives are going to come out of the woodwork like they do every season, and they already have. And the Patriots are going to take that, they're going to put it on the bulletin board, and Belichick's going to say, you see what people are saying about you right now? We need to get better. We were schooled on Sunday night. We were out-physicaled. And the thing is, they played that poorly. They played that bad. And if Edelman doesn't fumble the ball there, they go up on the Ravens on that drive because they look like the offense was really rolling, which I want to say, there were some positives taken out of this game. The Sanu looked awesome in this offense. The offensive line played better. They got the tempo and passing game going, which we haven't seen all season. They're getting N'Keal Harry back. They're getting Isaiah Wynn back. The offense is going to start clicking, and the defense won't have to carry the team. But the defense was able to adjust in spurts to the Ravens, even throughout the game where they were being schooled. And you see the intensity and the passion of guys like Dante Hightower. They're going to turn this around. I have no doubt about it. So at number 3, it's the New England Patriots. At number 2, the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are a complete team. Drew Brees looked good on his comeback, and I'm sure the bye week helped them get back into rhythm. Alvin Kamara's coming back from injury, which will only provide a boost. Michael Thomas is one of the best, if not the best receiver this season in the league. Their defensive line is one of the best. Their offensive line is one of the best. The Saints are a true contender. There's no question about it. I actually think they match up with the Saints very, very well. Not much to say about them right now because they just had a bye week, but the Saints All you need to know is Breeze is back, Kamara is back, Sean Payton is balling, and Taysom Hill is an official weapon. At number 1, the San Francisco 49ers. I have the 49ers at 1 for a simple reason. They have not lost. Maybe the Saints could beat the 49ers. I'm not sure. Maybe the Patriots are still the best team, but the 49ers have not lost. And even in a tight game versus the Cardinals, they were able to come up with the victory. They were able to beat Kyler Murray. And even though the Cardinals kind of showed maybe some of the weaknesses of the 49ers defense, and Jimmy Garoppolo stepped up. What was I asking for, guys? For weeks on end. You know, I'm questioning Jimmy Garoppolo. Can he really get it done when he needs to? Can he carry this team in a shootout? Because we hadn't seen it. And then on Thursday Night Football, Jimmy G, not only is he flirting with Aaron Andrews after the game, but he's flirting with the end zone. And Jimmy G had his best game of the season. And that's what I was saying early this season. The 49ers, they're going to win with defense and running game. And then as Jimmy continues to get comfortable, they're going to get better and better and better in the passing game. Emmanuel Sanders has proven to be an excellent addition to this offense already. And I just question, Quan Alexander out for the season. That's going to be a big loss for the defense. How do they respond? I think they'll be fine. But 49ers best team right now. They're undefeated. Will that stay the same? Will they continue this consistency and their ability to win? I'm sure they'll lose at some point, so don't overreact, just like the Patriots. But right now, the 49ers, they're the best team. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. If you haven't already, Gronk spike the like button and subscribe to the channel. It's Mitch. Peace out.